Good morning, guys. So, listen, I recently saw a quote and I reposted the graphic. And it said something like overthinking, the art of creating problems that don't exist. I have no clue who wrote it and where the origin is from. So, shout out to whoever wrote that because that resonated and hit home. And so I want to dig into overthinking just a little bit. Let's dig into that just a little bit. So, when we start talking about overthinking, that is when your brain starts going into loops and loop de loop circles. And those loops are what ifs, right? What if this happens? What if that happens? How do I handle these things? And a little portion of that, like a plan A and a plan B, are really, really good. Even maybe a plan C. But when you go into plan D's, E's, F's, and Z's, and triple A's and triple Z's, then you become stuck, right? Then you become stuck. So it's really, really important not to get too hung up in the what ifs and maybes. Here's the other place we get stuck. It's trying to have all the answers on the front end, trying to have all the answers up front. Okay. And so here's what I'm going to tell you. The learning is in the doing. I'm going to repeat that. The learning is in the doing. So when you want to try to have all the answers up front, we have to look at where does that mindset and mentality come from, right? When you ask thousands of questions, some people just want to have the information. Some people are just stuck. All of that comes from a place of fear and insecurity. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to do this wrong. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my money. I don't want to waste. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want. And that comes from a place of fear. And that fear is going to keep you constricted and it's going to keep you stagnant. Okay. So there's only so much information you can gather on the front end, because the learning is in the doing. So when you actually go through it and do it and execute it, that's when you start to get the realization, this doesn't work the way I thought it was going to work. This doesn't work the way that I expected it to work. Oh, that turned out very differently from what I had anticipated. That's where the learning is. There's no amount of training. There's no amount of coaching. There's no amount of information that can replace execution and actually moving through the process. So the next time you catch yourself and your brain in the loop with all the questions, or you catch yourself very frantic to find all of the answers, think about it. The learning is in the doing. The learning is in the doing. Okay. And one last shift that I think is super important. The final shift is, okay, use the failure as food for your growth. A lot of people's fear of failing or falling short or not quite reaching there, that's a lot of our ego. Our ego doesn't give us the room to make mistakes. It doesn't give us the room to fall short. But we need that. That's how you learn. If you think about it, as a kid, how do toddlers learn to walk, right? They learn by falling down. Okay. So there's the crawl, and then there's the standing and the wobbling, and then they start cruising, with the walking, holding on to things. And then they start with those 1 steps, 2 steps, wobble, fall, get back up. Have you ever seen a toddler that doesn't get back up? Even if they don't get back up right away, they get back up. Why? Because the reward of walking, the reward of moving faster towards their goal is much greater than staying on the floor and wallowing and crying. Okay? And so once that kid is up and they're walking and then running, the benefits of running all the way across that finish line are much greater than the pain of falling and scuffing up your knees a few times. So, overthinking, overthinking is paralyzing you. And I want you to commit today to release it and let go because the lessons are in the learning. I hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you on the flip side.